Hey, what's up guys? Tukey here, back again with another episode of our Canadian-based adventure here within FIFA 19's career mode. And in this episode, we begin our second season. The entirety of the first season with this team was the purpose, of course, was to set up the foundation for this club as we convert it essentially into a puppet club for the Canadian national team. And we got started off in a pretty good way. Of course, some of the additions, you look at who's on the team now, bringing in guys like Godinho and Frazier, Tabla as well. Decent players to add. And then, of course, to the youth academy, getting guys like Morgan, Peter Gagnon, who is our top player at this point. It went relatively well, and on a plus, we didn't finish dead last in the season, so I think we're on a little bit better of a schedule than I expected us to be. Of course, the one downside to only being able to scout, Canada for the Youth Academy is you only have that one scout, but fair play to Tim Lang. He did one hell of a job, and I think the investment in a 4-star, 5-star scout paid off pretty well. Of course, within the Youth Academy itself, we're still targeting guys who have mid-70 potential if it makes sense and we have a shortage on that particular position. But, for the most part now, we're already being able to transition into just being like, 80s and higher. And then eventually we'll be able to switch to, only the best of the best. But it is looking good. I mean, the transfer budget, $6 million to work with, 34 million in wage, or 34 million in wage, I wish, 34,000 in terms of the wage budget. Of course, that can be adjusted. So we will be able to make plays for some of the other guys who are still on the transfer hub at this point in time. That will not include Alphonso Davies still at this point, which is unfortunate, and I highly doubt, being able to loan him would work. But if you look at this team, and we'll actually take a look at this list because, of course, these are the best Canadians out there. In terms of goalkeepers with Busti and Morgan, we're pretty much set. I mean, Maxime Crepeau is better than both of them at the time, but he's 25. He doesn't have that high of potential, so we're going to be able to remove him. Borjan is someone who, obviously, 74 rated. It would be a pretty big help, but it's just not worth the investment. The only way it would be worth the investment for him is if I had the feeling that we might get sacked for having that, GM grade drop a little bit too far. I'm not really at all worried about that, so we'll go ahead and drop him. Right back, I don't really know if we need Brock Gallard here. I mean, we do have Mathis, we do have Godinho. I mean, in terms of a little bit of depth, it would be great, but he is still currently out on loan. So we're going to keep him there, someone to certainly keep our eye on moving forward. Center back, we do need to bring in another center back. So whether that's James, who isn't going to be all that expensive, or Daniel Henry, I'm not entirely sure. Hell, to be honest, it could be both of them, because obviously Dunn isn't going to be that great. We brought him in for cheap last year, and just his progression wasn't ideal, is what we'll go with. So there's a chance I'm going to bring in both of those center backs, because if I am not mistaken, Captain Canada here, who, again, with the French names, you're going to have to cut me some slack here. But yeah, our captain is retiring at 33, heading into 34, so we are going to have to think about the future at center back. But we also have the issue of having to deal with a distinct lack of strikers. Unfortunately, though, the strikers are just a little bit more expensive, so those three we'll keep an eye on. Left back-wise, I mean, we have Gagnon and we have Cameron. One other left back would be nice. Gutierrez can't be picked up, but he would be cheap. Ultimately, Adekugbe is very cheap and pretty damn good at this point. And then, of course, you have Kunumbe at 20, but he won't be moving. So we could look to bring in the veteran to hopefully be able to have just that little bit of extra depth. Atiba Hutchinson, shockingly, isn't retiring. But again, now that we're the manager of the national team, that's where we'll get to actually have him in the team, give him his time to shine, because there's no way we're going to be a good team by the time he calls it a day. So Samuel Piette, someone we're still going to be targeting, but right now a little bit out of the price range. That would be the entire budget. Mark Anthony Kay as well. Two guys I definitely want on this team eventually. Scott Arfield, I mean, he's a veteran at this point, 30 years old. He'd be a great addition to this team, but that's just never going to happen. By the time we're good enough, he'll be on the decline anyway. So we'll get him off of the list. Osorio, not going to happen now, but someone who we could still target in the future. Obviously, again, Alphonso Davies is the main target. And in terms of, wingers on the left side, we really only have Tabla and Wilson. So Junior Hollett would be nice, but again, I don't think he's going to be available to us within this window. Jonathan David is the top, goal to add a striker. But yeah, he's a little bit out of the price range right now. We do need to bring in help on the right-hand side. So I guess it is Beja. I wish he was available to us. He's not. But other extreme French name here is, and he can also play the right-hand side. So we might be looking to bring him in as well. We do need the help at striker, but Lorraine's way too expensive. Cavallini is way too expensive. So odds are Liam Millar or Buchanan will be the target here. And neither can move right now, but we'll see about a loan option heading into the season. So those are the targets, of course, that we still have. It's not ideal, but it is the Canadian national team, so you can only hope for so much. But we will go ahead here, and actually we'll probably start to target some of these guys. But looking at who we have right now, of course, we're still, we've set all of the non-Canadian players to be sold. You do have someone like Victor Olsen, but again, I'm not going to be signing people from the youth academy until they're asking to be signed, unless we desperately need them. But yeah, Theo Bayer, he's 6'4". I'm actually kind of intrigued to use him in game just to see how good he could be. And of course, he brought in Jordan Hamilton, but some extra help at striker would be pretty nice. For now, the main focus here is training up these guys that we had to sign, otherwise we would have seen them walk away. We need to train up these guys. My god, the face glitch in this game is just a nightmare. But I want to train up these guys, get them to a 60, to a point where they're usable, and then we'll start focusing on, bumping up the guys who are either in the youth academy or someone like Peter Gagnon, trying to get him to an elite level, essentially. So that is the plan for the moment. So Alex Cameron at a 59 makes all the sense in the world to sit there and try and bump him up, get him to a little bit more of a usable point. Not saying a 60 overall is that much more usable than a 59, but it's the milestone. It's the marker. You're a 60 or you're not. That's just how it works. So let's go ahead and actually go back here, because I think I know exactly who I would like to target here. And again, we are going to go for the two center backs. So with James, we're going to want to approach the buy here, because we're absolutely going to want to rely on a player swap and have that carry over just a little bit. So let's see what they're interested in. Striker-wise, Huth would be perfect if they're willing to do that. They are not. Midfielder, goalkeeper, or winger. Right. Who do we have on the wing? Anybody? Balou Tabla, who won't be moved. Hemline is the top option there. In the midfield, Bergman would be perfect. And we'd still have to give up about $1 million to do it, but it's worth it. So let's go ahead and bring in James. Again, I don't want to completely butcher his name, but that is perfect. And we will delegate the player negotiation, and we'll see what happens there. And then the other center back, let's go ahead and go in for Daniel Henry from the Vancouver Whitecaps. And again, hopefully there's a player swap option that makes sense for us. Let's see what we got here. Player swap, striker. Let's go ahead and try to use Huth again. The sooner we can get rid of him, the better to make the most of that. And again, it's not going to work. Center backs. Kevin Krause. Jesus. You know what? Let's just use him. That way we shouldn't have to give up anything in return. Yeah, there we go. Straight 1 for 1. I'll take it. It saves us money. Not too bad. And again, we will delegate that dealio there. So hopefully we bring in those two. We'll leave it there for now. Obviously, we'll still have money left over, but we'll leave it there for now, and we'll see how it goes. Now, we do have the preseason tournament coming up. I'm not sure when our next game... Hey, we got a transfer budget increase, too, which is pretty nice. And Spalvis has left the team. Let's see. So there was an impasse with James. I could have negotiated it, but... Oh, God. The same thing could have happened anyway. So we'll try again with him later on, but Daniil Henry has accepted. So we will be bringing him in immediately. And then again, with James, we can try again in a week. So we got an extra, nearly $250,000. Not bad. Not too bad. Huth, don't worry. Spalvis' spot is going to be taken up by probably Bayer, who's terrible. He's terrible, but we'll still be using him. We get an offer for Yannick Sternberg from Beijing, just under $1 million. We will accept that. Again, every non-Canadian is currently available. So we'll see who we manage to get rid of. And we play Aalborg here. Portsmouth. So we have, I believe, 2 clubs out of Denmark and then Portsmouth. Interest shown in Osorio, that's fine. I don't even care who's in the lineup here. We'll just sim through this. There are a decent amount. If not, it's pretty much all Canadians anyway outside of Huth. We end up getting a draw with Jordan Hamilton scoring the goal. Not too shabby. I do have to wonder, as we do get an offer for Huth out of Shanghai. We'll accept that as well. And then, you know, if we have to rework a James offer, which I don't think we do, but if we had to rework a James offer, we could do that, no problem. So let's go ahead and do this. So Cameron gets up to a 60. Again, just to get him into a little bit more of a usable spot for us this year. And I think it's White, and then we have, I think it's a left back. It might be a right back, but one guy who's just terrible. But he wanted to be signed, and he had a good potential, so I didn't want to let him go. Hemline, we can also look to move on from. I love that we're getting offers here. I'm not sure how many of them are going to go through. I mean, we have, what, 2 offers from China, and now 1 from, I believe, the Millonarios. Yeah, that's Argentina, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see what we got. What's happening? Sternberg sold. We have an offer for Julius Biata, who, yeah, he can go too. Fine by me. Fine by me. And then again, the whole Osorio deal, I don't really care. Anthony Wilson wants to play. You know what? We actually kind of have to care about Anthony Wilson, one of our hopeful future stars. So, Wilson, are you on the bench? You are. Damn shame. Let's get you in there for Tabla for this game. We'll handle it that way. Again, not really going to be all that concerned about the lineup in a preseason tournament. Obviously, if we win, cool. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see how we do against Portsmouth. This will be a pretty big test for us, I would assume. It's another draw. Wilson scored as well. They missed a pen, so all in all, not that bad. I'll take that outcome. And of course, as far as the slower pace for the start of the year is concerned, of course, it's because there is going to be a lot of wheeling and dealing, a lot of moves. A lot of people are going to leave the club. We'll hopefully be able to bring in some big additions to the club itself. Obviously, these first couple of seasons, like we mentioned in the last one, that kind of faster pace is going to be the go-to. So we do get an offer for Bergman from Guadalajara, but we need to see. Actually, how long ago was that meeting with James? That was on the 5th. It is now the 12th. So, yeah. We should be able to go talk to Mr. James. Hopefully bring him in. And then we get to focus on somebody else, maybe out of Cook Bay. So, James. Really, I gotta start all over? Son of a bitch. Let's go approach the buy. Obviously, this deal could immediately fall apart depending on the player swap, which, again, I think the player I offered via player swap had just gotten an offer. Hessel's not worth anything. Fullback-wise, what about Dominic Schad? What do you think? Goalkeeper, winger, or midfielder? Damn it. Nope, it's not what I wanted. Midfield or winger, that's fine. Hemline, of course, we get an offer for. Bergman, we get an offer for. This is, this is going to be rough. So you know what? This is going to have to be a bigger money offer now. But we'll go for Wolfgang, see if they're interested. And they are not. They're interested in the goalkeeper, just not that goalkeeper. So we'll try to get the Bergman deal to go through like we did before, and it'll be a race against the clock to see how quickly the James offer, how quickly he responds. So the wage offer, let's bump that up. Oh, that's a tough call. What is he on right now, money-wise? I don't know. I should have looked. Okay, let's just go up to 8 for the memes. I was gonna go to 69 for the memes, but we'll go up to 8. Why not? An even 8. That's meme-worthy, right? Hopefully. And we'll see what goes through there. It's a race against the clock. Either we'll have to spend more money on him, or, we'll see what happens. Heimline's been sold. We do actually get a transfer offer for Hessel, which is shocking. Notts County going in for the 33-year-old 60 overall keeper. That is perfect. Just remove some of the clutter, get us a little bit of money. Really, a win here would be nice, just to try and secure a spot. Let's see what happens. Huth has been sold to Shanghai. We get a transfer offer for Shad as well, so this is looking good. We're going to have pretty much as much money as we were hoping that we could have. Ideally that we could have had heading into the, or, throughout the rest of the transfer window. So let's see what happens here, and okay, we're going to be out of the preseason tournament in the group stage, but that's okay. Now we can just change our focus solely on to what really matters. As Beata's been sold, and, Captain Canada, torn groin, out for 6 weeks. So indeed, the sooner we can get this deal done for James, the better, just to get it over with and really shore things up at center back. As you see the amount of strikers that we've cleared out, which has been pretty nice. Again, someone like Connor or Cooper will probably avoid, and then Frank James is there as well. We'll be clearing out the Youth Academy again here in a minute. It's going to be Evan White, though, our focused upon player. Let's get him into a slightly more usable state. I'll just make him better all around, even though he's a little bit more of an attacking center mid. Let's go ahead and bump up ye old passing again, and ye old shooting. But yeah, I know going down to injury, that's gonna hurt our chances in the early stages of this season. But like I said, we didn't even finish dead last year. I'm a little bit more concerned about that being the case this year, though, because obviously we've moved out quite a bit of the, already established players on this team who would have been a little bit better. But again, Beata has been sold, and we'll wait to see what happens with James. We should get an answer here. If not the next day, please. Come on, I need that answer. And there we go. James has accepted. Perfect. So, Manjrakar James. Bring him into the team. So we have bolstered up the defense to start things off. Not a bad way to go. And we'll still have a decent amount of money to spend as well, as we wait to see if some of these other guys end up leaving as well. So let's see what we have right now in terms of a budget. Whew. That's not bad. That is not bad, considering we still have some player swaps left. I'm feeling pretty good about that. So if we factor in, of course, that we brought in James and Henry to the center back spots, let's take a look at who else we could look to bring in. Again, an extra striker is arguably the most needed spot that we have, and another winger would be a great addition as well. So that is what we'll focus on for now. And again, since Beija isn't available, God, you have the most French name I've ever seen, but he would be a tremendous addition. So let's go talk to Montreal Impact and see if we can cut a deal. And then striker-wise, even if it's not a great striker, we got to bring somebody in just for that extra bit of depth. So player swap, he has a bit more value than I would have hoped for. Christian Hulvetter would be perfect with the value that he has, and they are not interested in a striker, because of course they're not. Fullbacks, our top option would be Shad, which would be great. That's going to work. 410k alongside it. That is perfect. So let's see if we can make a deal for Choinier, I'm guessing. That's about as close as I'm going to get with that. We'll bump up the wage, of course, since we'll be able to afford it. And then striker-wise, again, Jonathan David would be ideal, but we don't have a hope in hell of that going through. Larine would be great as well, but we don't have a hope in hell of that going through. We can hit Cavallini's release clause, so we're looking at Liam Millar or Tajon Buchanan, the Buchanan. So apparently it would have to be a loan for either one. So I'd look for Millar. And obviously in terms of, the split, I'm not too worried about it. I just want to make sure that we can loan him out. So let's see if we can get Liam Millar for the year. And the other guy we were going to go after was Adekugbe. And we'll see if that works out for us. And again, say in the future we're like, oh, we actually want Gutierrez, then we can just use Adekugbe and pick up Gutierrez. But again, at left back, Peter Gagnon's there, so we're pretty much good to go. So Adekugbe is not all that expensive, but he will provide that little bit of depth we need for the fullbacks. Let's see what we got. How expensive are you going to be? Let's go center backs. Not center backs. I mean, those are our 5 right there. Again, it's humble beginnings, but it works. Oh, God. Who the hell can we even use here? Hessel had an offer. Midfield. We're running out of players to be able to use here, though. Djonjic would be great. But that is not what they're looking for. They want defenders, and again, we don't have anybody to swap at this point unless they want good old Wolfgang. And nobody wants good old Wolfgang. Oh, right. You know, I think we're going to end negotiations here for now then. Because if any move from this point is a big money move, then big money for us at least, then we might as well play it safe if it's going to have to be a straight cash deal. So we'll hold off for now and see what we have moving forward. What do we got? A transfer offer. Timmy Thiel from Crotone. We'll see if we can move him out. One of the last few remaining players that we can actually swap. So we'll get whatever deals we have, in the pipeline right now done, and then we'll look to see who we can bring in. Dominic Schad has been sold. Schwaner has accepted, which is great. We'll go ahead and bring him in, and again, that really helps, establish the wingers that we have. And then Millar, they accepted the loan offer. We take on, 100% of his salary, but that's $10K a week. That's nothing. So we'll bring in Millar. He'll be with Hamilton and Bayer for the season. And in terms of our overall squad depth, it's looking much better. Much better. I still think it would be a good idea to bring in another defender, but we might not have to at this point, because you look at who we already have in the academy. It might not be the worst way to go to just start, hoarding as much money as we can, as we are still waiting for the next scouting report. We haven't had one yet in this episode. I don't remember when the hell we would have done it. Keep player salary growth under 20%. The only way that's accomplished is that the players that we're bringing in are making less money than the players we just got rid of, which is unlikely. So to potentially clear this out. Yeah, Walter Parkey's a low overall, but at least he's half decent. Wolf, Cohen Wilson, Dennis White, David Park as well, Frank James. I think at this point, even someone like Daniel Martin, again, he would help in terms of being that little bit of depth, but I don't think I'm going to trust Martin or Rogerson at this point. We're gonna aim for a little bit higher than that already at this stage, and I think really it was the addition of Peter Gagnon that really helped kind of solidify that. As far as we don't really need those lower value players at this point. We know who we want. We know the quality that we're already looking for, which is ridiculous. So White's up to a 57 as we continue to try and improve him. And Liam Millar rejected, which I don't know why. Like, if you're on Liverpool, man, buddy, you're not playing anytime soon. So, as Hessel's been sold, we start off our season against 1860 Munich. Thiel's been sold. I mean, if you're a Millar, that is a bad career move, buddy. It is a really bad career move. But now that raises the question over what exactly we're going to do with strikers this season. It might have to be a one-striker formation this year, just due to the lack of depth that we have up top. And we do have extra midfielders overall. So back to the hub, and actually really quickly again back over to the office. 10 million. So if we were to take our time, we could try to get someone like Jonathan David within the next season. I mean, there's no way for the low offer that's going to go through, but for the hell of it, let's talk to them about it. See if there's, I don't even think I have anybody available left via player swap to make this work. But if we have somebody that we can use, then damn it, we should use them. We do have cool vet. Oh man, this might work. How much? Oh, of course. Of course. Yeah, they want a striker, just not him. He's not good enough. Son of a bitch. That's rough. Midfielders, again, we don't have anybody to make that work. So if I offer a fee, let's say we go, let's just start it off at 9. How do you feel about that? Woo! Wow! Yes! Only 9.4, but a 15% sell-on, which is fine by me, because I'm not getting rid of him anytime soon. That is most of our budget, but you bet your sweet ass I'm taking that to get Jonathan David. Oh my god, now we just need him to accept. That is unreal. How much was he making on his current deal? Damn it, I can't see how much he was making per week. Dude, if we can get Jonathan David here, we are laughing. I know that's the majority, but it's him and Alphonso Davies as the top 2 Canadians right now. This would be huge for the season. He's making $11K a week. We can afford that. Obviously he's going to be a crucial player. He's going to be our star player. A 1-year deal, that's not going to cut it. Give me at least 2, please. Of course, that works every time. Disregard release clause. Okay, so he's making 11, which I'm going to have to, I'll put it up to 12. And then, how would you like a 25K signing bonus? What do you think? Please just don't walk away in anger. I'll take it, maybe we even slightly overspent. I had to make sure, though, that we were offering him at least how much he was making. Liam Millar, thank you for rejecting, because that never would have happened otherwise. We have somehow been able to acquire Jonathan David this early on, heading into Season 2. A gigantic acquisition for us. Again, he is the second highest potential player for a Canadian in this game, aside, of course, secondary to Alphonso Davies. So that's huge. We've improved the defense significantly. We've brought in Jonathan David to be next to Jordan Hamilton. That has taken up, of course, the majority of the budget. But I am not complaining at all. That is a huge move for us. And now, of course, we'll be able, as we ended up achieving a goal as well, now we'll be able to focus on the Youth Academy as it stands. So that is a beautiful, beautiful bit of business for us. So let's take a look here. If we send down any non-Canadian, this team is essentially all Canadian. Outside of Kulvetter and Jonjic at this point, everybody else is Canadian. So within one season, we've been able to accomplish that, which is pretty nice. Morgan's going to be our starting keeper. I kind of want to bump up him over Boosty at this point, even though Boosty's real. But we also know that Morgan has that crazy good potential. So Daniel Henry, and not even Cornelius. It'll be, where the hell's James? Oh, they put him in the midfield. So Cornelius is going to be relegated to a depth role for now. It'll be he and Mathis on the bench, which isn't too bad. That back line is okay, especially for the divisions that we're in right now. So again, it'll be David and Hamilton up top. We might even keep this formation, which is certainly not what I would use if we were to actually play a game. But based off of who we have, let's just say we go Okello and Frazier, Clark on that right-hand side, Tabla there, although he can play the right-hand side. That's not looking too bad. Lowest rated guy right now is a 62. I'll take that, especially, again, for, the third tier in Germany and the amount of money that we had to start with. Do I want, apparently, Coline, I've been told, or Cameron. Let's bring in Cameron. Actually, we're gonna want Wilson there. So Clark, Wilson, and Cameron, and then Bayer as the backup striker. We're looking good. We're looking pretty damn good. I'm just trying to decide if I actually want to play a game with this team just to see what they're capable of. Again, I don't think I would use this formation because this is a nightmare for the most part, or at least I can't claim I've ever really used this formation successfully. And then the question of who would be the captain, but probably Peter Gagnon. Do I want to use this team? Do we go humble beginnings to show John? You know, we have to play Jonathan David's debut. We have to. It's Jonathan frickin' David, man. That's unbelievable that we were able to get him for that cheap. All it took was that sell-on fee, which is nothing. Because, again, he's not going anywhere anytime soon as long as we can help it. And even if he does, he's going to earn us a decent amount of money. So I will be right back. We're playing Jonathan David's debut. So I know I said if I played any games, I'd probably do it with a 3 at the back formation. But you know what? I want to enjoy this one game in particular. Jonathan David's debut. We signed him just a few days before. I'm excited for this one. Hamilton. Jonathan David. Gets the cut in. Heel to heel. David. Tabla. Nails it. Jonathan David sets it up. Baloo knocks it down. We get the first goal of a new campaign for what could be a very memorable season. The Canadians are up by 1. Baloo out wide. Baloo. Baloo. For Schwanier. Gets it. 2-0 within 26 minutes. Oh, this team's fun. This team is fun to use. Off the hand and in. I don't know if you're hearing that chant that the crowd does as well, but it's fucking amazing and I love it. 2-0 to the Canadians. Fraser. For Schwanier. Oh, the big cut. No one to pass to. It's called a foul, though, at the edge of the box. Now, free kicks this year, not my forte, but we're going to see what Baloo can do. We're going to try to keep this on the ground. Come on, Baloo. Baloo! Oh, my God, what a save! Baloo Tabla nearly gets his second of the game. It took an outrageous save from the goalkeeper. The aim was just a little bit off. Here we go. Jonathan David again. Space. Sends it off the post. Like, I know we're only playing a third-tier German side, man, but this team is dominating already. It's a corner. Oh, no, I wanted to see that replay. I'm so mad I just hit the button there. I wanted to see that replay. Ungodly save. Chance here from the corner. It's off the bar again. Jordan Hamilton, terrible touch. Pure domination from the Canadians here in this first half. And a chance here. Okello. Oh, come on, David. No. Oh, the trap feint. It would have been perfect.
Predictable with the passing and the opposition able to deal with that.
Ball played through. Jonathan David just before the half. Nails it. 3-0. What a counterattack. Jonathan David. An assist and a goal in the first half of his first game. The debut goal. The back line got caught up high. Thought the last touch was just a bit too much, but Jonathan David makes it 3. The first goal of hopefully many for him in this series. Jonathan David backtracks to make the play. He does it all. Baloo Tabla down the left-hand side. Steps in. Back in for Schwanier. It's too easy. Too easy. His second of the game. Acquired from Montreal Impact. He's making an impact. Dominance from the Canadians. Balou Tabla. And Chouanière makes no mistake. Big time block, second chance, it's gonna go in. The shot block, it goes right back to him. We lose the clean sheet. Just one of those goals where, of course, it goes right back to the guy, right? So, Abrushia gets the goal. Still up 4-1. Chance here. Hamilton. Chouanière. Stepping in. Chouanière gets the hat trick. No effort from the Munich back line. It's a debut hat trick from Matthew Chouanière, whose name I've probably been butchering the entire time. There's your ultimate defense for you. Hamilton for Clark off the bench for Balou. Cutting in. Oh, what a play. Shot can't get through. 3 minutes of stoppage time, but pure dominance for the Canadians. It is a new day, a new era for Kaiserslautern. This team has the chance to be something special, as that mistake was very special. But it's all good. Wow, ref, how much stoppage time we planning on allowing here? We'll just boot it down with Morgan. 5-1 is the final. Ref, where is the whistle? Thank you. A beautiful day. A beautiful start to the season. Matthew Chouanière would not have guessed that he would have been the first star, player of the game for us, but again, just pure dominance for us across the board. I can't remember the last time I had 20 shot attempts in a game. Just absolutely ridiculous. And with that, guys, we are going to end this episode for today. It was relatively eventful. The next episode, we will begin simming a decent portion of the season. Of course, we still have an entire month to go before the window closes, although our business is already done. Again, what a just simply gigantic episode for us with the additions of Henry, James, and now Jonathan David, of all people. And again, that doesn't leave too many people left on this short list that we'd want to get. The big name is Alphonso Davies. Bringing in Kyle Larin would be great at some point. And again, someone like Samuel Petit would be a pretty good addition as well. But we talked about at the beginning of this, the building blocks being set for this team in Season 1. Well, they just got a massive, massive addition. And again, we didn't even get to a scouting report this time out. So we know that list is going to improve as well. But again, we will call it here. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Certainly, this is going to be a long-term series, I would like to think, as long as, viewership doesn't plummet for it. But I'm excited, man. This could be something. And God, that team was fun to play with. For as much as I can't imagine ever really using that formation, it worked out pretty goddamn well for us. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, have a good one. Take it easy, and goodbye.